Well, blessed Monday to you as we come with your daily encouragement. We are at Revelation chapter 20. As you can see, three more chapters until the end of the book. But Revelation 20 is worth dwelling on a little bit. It's probably the most interpreted, the most disagreeable part of the book of Revelation. What I mean by that is if we're trying to put timelines in and we're trying to figure out structure, there's a lot of disagreement on what to do with Revelation 20. The most prominent thing that is done in many cases is to view it as 1,000 years that interrupts the timeline or becomes the last part of the timeline of the book of Revelation. Now, there are some of us, and I put myself in this school, that Revelation chapter 20 is a summation of what has already happened, just from another perspective. One, remember, you can also have things in a linear version. You can have things from a diamond version, that you're looking at the same events from different angles. And the position that I come to is called amillennialism. It means simply that there will not be 1,000 years. The 1,000 years is a summation of the entire time of history. So when we left chapter 19 of the book of Revelation, there was an end of time, a battle. Well, if you hold to the theory that there will be a millennium, 1,000 years of peace, and then another final battle, you're kind of like, well, what was the point of Revelation 19? If you view this as just another angle of what we have already been through, then we can see that everything is coming to an end. We're just looking at it from a different vantage point. Now, with those disagreements in mind, we can look at this book, at this chapter specifically, as a summation. And so we're going to just go through the interpretation part, and then we will talk about how the timeline thing can fit in, or we can just ignore the timeline and just appreciate the text for what it is. So, Revelation chapter 20. Then I saw an angel coming down from heaven, holding in his hands the key to the bottomless pit and the great chain. He seized the dragon and the ancient serpent, who is the devil or Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years. Now, you could say that that was the culmination of this final battle. The only trouble is with that interpretation is that the devil will come back up again at the end of this chapter. Or you could say that this was the era of the church, the era of the progression of the message of Jesus. And to some extent, there's been some very prominent interpretation of that. That right now we are in a time where Satan is bound quite a bit because of the success of the good news of Jesus Christ, only to return for that final battle that we just saw summation in Revelation 19. However you do it, there is a punishment and a bottomless pit, a place for the dragon, the ancient serpent, who is the devil, and Satan was bound for 1,000 years. Now, 1,000 years, of course, is where we get the word millennium from. It's the word that we get the word of completion from. So the question is that was this a temporary punishment, or will there be a more permanent punishment? And that we can be agreed on no matter what our timeline is. There are times where Satan is bound. There are times where Satan is let loose. The mystery, of course, is when we try to figure out why. Why are there times that Satan is bound? Why are there times when it seems that everything from exorcisms to healings and other things are successful, as they were in Jesus' life? And why were there times also when it seems that Jesus' life was expendable and so were the lives of the saints? We don't know that. But we get an image that there is a time period in which Satan is bound. There's a time period in which Satan is let loose. There's a time period where God allows Satan, even with a changed chain, to go a little farther into the world, and then there is a time where the chain is pulled back again. All those are part of the mystery images that we have at the beginning. What we do know is that there is a period of time where Satan was not allowed to have free reign. And I believe that that is the age of evangelism, where Jesus comes in and takes over territory, as you would talk about, that the devil had already taken. People that were possessed are set free. People who are having illness are set free. But we've also had times where we had to wait for the final consummation. So whether you view these 1,000 years as a summary of what has taken place, or you view them as another age that we have to go through, Revelation 20 gives us some sound images of what happens to us and the devil in the midst of these trying times. God bless you today. We trust that these continue to be words of encouragement. Take care. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow.